Hi, everyone. I'm Andrew Fazekas, the Night Sky Guy, here for May 29th, 2023, to talk about what else the night sky this week. Thanks so much for joining me wherever you're watching from around the world. Please put it in the comment section. I'd love to see where all my stargazing friends, all of you, are located around the world. There's always something to see in the sky. And wow, 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 we've had a lot of stargazing in the news this past week. There's been a lot of talk about auroras, northern lights, and of course, that big supernova 21 million light years in another galaxy, right? You might have heard of it if you follow amateur astronomy, observing the night sky. This supernova has made a lot of press. What am I talking about? Well, a supernova is an exploding star. It's basically a giant star that when it explodes, its brightness increases tremendously, manyfold. And it can become one of the brightest objects in the entire universe when a giant massive star explodes. It becomes brighter than its entire parent galaxy. So like our Milky Way galaxy has about 100, I would say, sorry, about 300, 400 billion stars in it. Our sun is one. And on average, about one supernova explodes about a century in our galaxy. But we see a lot of other galaxies out there, and we can find supernova exploding in any random galaxy in the sky. And so this past week, what made the news is the Pinwheel Galaxy in Earth, in the northern sky, Messier 101, and this supernova is visible through backyard telescopes. Now, you may have asked, why hasn't the Night Sky Guy talked about this? Well, if you're most of my followers out there, we're new to astronomy. We're casual observers. We may have a telescope, probably a binoculars, but we watch the sky with the naked eye. And this event, supernova, is absolutely not visible to the naked eye. It is absolutely not visible with binoculars. And even with small telescopes, while it technically is visible at magnitude 11, it is by far not easy to find or recognize by any casual observer. So don't hold your breath on it. I haven't talked about it because it's just not something that 99.9% of you are ever going to be able to see or even find. It's that difficult to see. And we leave it to the more advanced, keen amateur astronomers out there who have more advanced settings and telescopes, either robotic or perhaps they have imaging capabilities, and we get to enjoy what they're seeing and being able to image it. But it's really cool. If you are more advanced, it is possible at magnitude 11. It's not hard if you're an advanced amateur astronomer, someone who is savvy to using a small telescope and finding these faint fuzzies, these galaxies. And I can show you where it is in the sky, actually. If you turn to the planetarium program and go dark, I'll set it for a couple of hours after darkness falls, and we find Messier 101, and we put that into the search here, and you can see here's Messier. It's a large, relatively nearby face-on spiral galaxy. Here's a beautiful photograph of the galaxy. It's at 21 million light years away, and you can see these spiral arms, very similar probably to what our Milky Way galaxy perhaps looks like. And what's really neat is we can center it here on using my Sky Safari software. Safari Pro 7. Here we go. And there it is. Now let's just set up the constellation. So you'll see what I mean in terms of constellation. So right now it's set to just zodiac. Well, we want to see all the constellations. So there it is. It's next to the tail of the Great Bear, the Big Dipper. It's not too hard to find if you're savvy to look using a backyard telescope. It's right there. You can see it. It's at the tail. Where's the Big Dipper in the northern sky, and kind of forms a triangle with the last two stars in the handle of the Big Dipper. See, there's the 7 stars of the Big Dipper, the handle of the stars, and making sort of a triangular formation with the bright stars there, the last 2 stars with this galaxy. It's not that hard to find. I've seen it multiple times. It looks very, very faint. the center core is what really becomes visible at first. And once you're familiar with observing galaxies, you can, and you have very dark skies, you can start making out little knots, little mini clouds that make up the spiral galaxy's arms. So this supernova that we're talking about is located in M101. This beautiful Messier. Messier was Charles Messier was a French astronomer who in the 1700s was cataloging all these wonderful deep sky objects, objects that are beyond the solar system, things like star clusters. He noted nebulae, which are basically gas clouds, and galaxies as well. And he was able to create this list of 110 objects. And M101, as the name suggests, is the 101st object in his list of 110 objects. And it's a galaxy. And, it's a nice, beautiful galaxy, spiral galaxy. It's very, very pretty to photograph. There's no doubt about it, as you can see. And one of these supernova basically are visible as a star. It looks like a faint star through the eyepiece of a small backyard telescope. One of these, I don't know which one off my top of my head, but one of these outer spiral arms, basically. So that is what that's basically what you're going to be seeing is this galaxy face on with these spiral arms laid out. And this new star. But again, like I said, if you're new to astronomy, you haven't used your telescope before, this is not within the realm of really being able to as a target. That's why I've kind of left it to more advanced amateur astronomers to talk about. And for us guys, it's just kind of neat to know where it is in the sky. You want to know where it is. It's really cool. If you look towards the Big Dipper, if you're in the northern hemisphere, this is a target for you. And by the way, if you are more advanced and you are looking at the supernova in M101, the moon is really beginning to interfere this coming up week with views. The glare of the moon will interfere with that and become much more difficult. It's still holding steady at magnitude 11, 11.2. That is where it's been fluctuating, and it's been pretty steady with its brightness. So if you haven't seen it yet and you do have the capability, then by all means, take advantage. I'll put a sky chart for this on my timeline, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, wherever you're watching, so you can go and follow that for yourself. But that's basically M101 in the Big Dipper in the constellation Ursa Major. It's in the northwest after darkness falls. So do check it out. Hello from Connecticut, from Gina. Colin says my volume is low. Okay, let's see if we can make that a little bit higher. How's that, Colin? Let's see if that works out a little bit better. If it was a tad low, I'll just put a little bit higher there. So Nancy is also there. Hello, Nancy. Who else do we have here? Suna from Turkey. Welcome. Nice of you to join us. So what else is there in the sky this week? Well, if we turn our attention on Tuesday evening, what's been really neat is looking at this pair of stars, Castor and Pollux, and Venus is absolutely beautiful. The brightest star after sunset in the west is really the Venus. You can see it right here. Let's put it at sunset. There we go. That's the first star that you'll see in the west, the brightest one, easy peasy. Even in the city, it's easy to see this. And what's really cool is that Venus in the next couple of nights will be in a beautiful lineup with Castor and Pollux, the Gemini pair. So let me just move this till Tuesday, because this is now set for Monday the 29th as we're taping today, this show. But if we move this to 29th and 31st, here's the 31st, Wednesday, and look by June 1st. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the next 3 nights, look at this beautiful lineup of star-like objects. Brightest one, of course, is Venus, and then we have Pollux and Castor. Pollux is this yellowish colored star, and it's 33 light years away. And Castor over here is basically 51 light years away. And all of this action is happening in the western sky. So after sunset, wait about 45 minutes, an hour, maybe even an hour and a half after sunset to really see these stars pop out into view. Every night I go walk my dog and it's clear night. I look towards the west and there they are. What's really cool though is that you see Venus. See, this is how it looks like today on Monday, the 29th. You see Venus is kind of off. It's crooked, makes a crooked kind of line there. But watch what happens by Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Do you see how beautiful that is? It produces this beautiful lineup of 3 brilliant stars. It's very eye-catching. It's easy to see, even in light-polluted cities. So go out, look towards the west. It's a fun thing to do. So this beautiful lineup. Now, what else is there to see? Well, of course, the moon is out there. So let's go back to Monday. And where is the moon? Well, the moon was near Mars, the planet Mars, which is in the constellation Cancer, just above this beautiful trio we just talked about. And then there is Leo. Regulus and the moon were close together. That's the heart of the lion just a few days ago. And now the moon is located in the constellation Virgo, the maiden. And all of that action with the moon is happening in the southern sky, a couple of hours after your local sunset. Now watch what happens to the moon. I'm going to mark the moon here. You can see right there. And watch what happens when I move to Tuesday. See that? The moon is now right next to Spica. Spica is the brightest star in the constellation Virgo the Maiden. As you can see, the entire constellation. It's very faint. You won't really be able to make out much of the stars unless you have pretty dark skies. If you live in an outer suburb, you'll be able to see these fainter stars that make up this ancient constellation. But really the brightest and easiest is Spica, and it has this distinctive, beautiful bluish tint to it. And I highly recommend this beautiful pairing of the moon and Spica in the constellation Virgo. And that's happening basically tomorrow night, the 30th of May, Tuesday. So Tuesday night, if you got clear skies, get out. You'll notice that beautiful blue star next to the moon. You don't want to miss that. Now, we talked about, what else did we? Oh, by the way, before I leave this, Spica, if you're wondering, it's 250 light years away. So it takes 2.5 centuries for the light to travel from that star to your eye. It's incredible. You're traveling back in time 2.5 centuries by looking at Spica. Now, what else is there? Well, you've got on Friday a beautiful meeting. If we turn back towards the southwest, western skies here in the west, you can see that Mars is right there. I'm going to make it a little bit later in the evening. First, we're going to put it onto Thursday because, Friday. Friday, there's something really cool happening. So let's move to Friday. There we go. And there's a deep sky object that's pairing up with Mars. It's called the Beehive Cluster. And if you followed me for long enough, you know that many times we go back to this. It pops up often with the moon usually pairing up. But now this is even better than the moon because Mars is very faint into the eye in the terms of not really causing us any loss of our dark adapted vision. Why, if you look at the moon would definitely blind you, right? But with Mars, it's just so easy. So here we go. Let's just look at, we've got the deep sky objects, and there's the Beehive already marked here on my Sky Safari and planetarium program. And look what's really cool. Look at this. Do you see what I'm showing you here? So if you look at Mars on Friday night, this week, Mars is going to be smack dab in the middle of a beautiful star cluster. This is visible to the naked eye, barely that cluster. You need very dark skies to be able to see the cluster in back of Mars. But with binoculars, easy peasy. Even if you're in the city, just find Mars, point your binoculars at Mars, and you'll see a beautiful cluster in the background of Mars. Mars will look like this shimmering orange star. This all happens in the constellation Cancer the Crab, the zodiacal constellation, and it's just a gorgeous sight. If I just mark off here on my planetarium program, the Beehive cluster, we can get a picture of what it looks like. And guess what? It's 610 light years away. Can you imagine that? Takes over 6 centuries for that light to reach your eye when you're looking with your binoculars or your telescope. It's beautiful. And by the way, with a telescope, it's even better. The sight you can see, this is similar to what you'd see. It just looks like a scattering of diamonds. And the Mars will be right about here in the middle of it this Friday night. It's really going to be impressive. Highly recommend it. And what's interesting is, of course, Mars is in our solar system. It's much closer. We're talking about not light years, but light minutes. The Mars is right now at 300 million kilometers away from us. It's actually pretty distant for Mars. It's pretty far away from Earth right now. And it takes almost 17 minutes, 16.7 minutes for light from Mars to reach your eye. So think about that. Just over a quarter of an hour back in time, you're looking at Mars. And then right in back of Mars is that amazing star cluster, the Beehive star cluster in back of it, or also called Messier 44. Again, referring to that French astronomer who's made that Messier list, Charles Messier. And so beautiful M44, or the Beehive cluster, and Mars is right there in the middle of it. So you don't want to miss that this Friday. Now, what else is there to see? There's one more thing on my list before I go, and that's going to be on Saturday. Now, this is Friday. Let's zoom out and make this really wide. And what I want you to see, and this is like around 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, you'll see the moon rising on Saturday just after sunset, your local sunset. We're going to just pop this over and put this at sunset. There we go. See, as the sun is setting in the west here on the right-hand side, the moon will be coming up here on the left-hand side. And this is going to be a full moon. So this is June's full moon on Saturday. Okay, so this Saturday is the full moon of June. It happens exactly at 11:43 p.m. Okay, Eastern time. That's North American Eastern time, 11:43. You can do the conversion to, that would be basically Sunday morning on Universal time, 4 hours ahead. But what's really neat is watch that full moon on Saturday evening rise, and you'll notice it's next to, let's do it a little earlier, and it's next to a bright orange star. Now, this is really cool. I highly recommend this because you can see this constellation is a zodiacal constellation. It's called Scorpius, and a scorpion. Again, a very ancient constellation. Goes back thousands of years. And what's really cool is you've got the moon, the full moon rising in Scorpius this Saturday night after sunset. Wait maybe an hour after your sunset or 2 hours. The moon will climb higher in the sky and that orange star will become more evident. And what, of course, you can do also is take your binoculars. If the glare of the moon is too much for your eyesight, try your binoculars and look for that beautiful orange star. And guess what? This star is approximately 600 light years away. It's a giant orange star. It's an older senior citizen star, and it's called a red giant. It's puffed up and it's elderly, and it's really interesting. The outer atmosphere of the star has really puffed up so much that it's probably swallowed any nearby planets and inner orbits. It's kind of a view of what our sun may look like in 5 billion years when we look at Antares. It's an old elderly star, and the stately stellar citizen is almost 600 light years away from us. We're looking back 6 centuries when we're looking at Antares. And so this is that view this Saturday. Highly recommend it, folks. Do get your binoculars out. If you have telescopes, you bring those out. But even with the naked eye, it's absolutely beautiful. Hey, now, if you're interested in learning more about the night sky, I highly recommend my book, The Backyard Guide to the Night Sky, out by National Geographic. It is a bestseller on Amazon thanks to you. It's consistently ranked as one of the top 5 backyard stargazing books. I've packed it full of all my tips and tricks that I've learned over many decades of observing the sky and teaching the sky, and so it's got everything in there. Also, if you're interested in something a little bit more meaty, definitely this would be your bet. Stargazer's Atlas is the ultimate guide to the night sky. Again, it's out by National Geographic. I'm a co-author on this, and we've packed it full of things like astrotourism, so you can book your next travel with astronomy on the mind, find those darkest skies in the world. There are amazing dark sky preserves out there. Our astroarchaeology, humanity's connection to the night sky, is all there. And all 88 constellations, no matter where you are in the world, it is marked off in this particular Stargazer's Atlas, all the mythology, everything. And I'm selling both books on my website, thenightskyguide.com, dedicated, personally signed editions. If you're interested as a gift, perhaps, you can visit that at my website, thenightskyguide.com. I'll put a link in the chat for you as well. Wow, so there's a lot happening this week. I told you it was busy. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. Please, it makes a big difference, your support, in me being able to bring these videos to you every week and picking out and carefully curating the night sky for all of you. So please do show your support by giving a thumbs up and share it with your network, with your friends and family. Let's get more people out under the stars. It's our shared heritage for all of us here on planet Earth. With that, I hope you have a great week. Stay safe and healthy. And until next week, I wish all of you clear skies. Bye-bye.